All of this to say, whatever you choose for you and your baby is your choice. I'm not condemning or shaming anyone for what they choose. And I pray that people don't condemn and shame me for what I'm choosing for my son and my family. He's choosing these things, so I'm allowing him to explore. Food before one is just for fun. I remember hearing my sister say this multiple times. She's had 3 healthy, strong boys, and I just figure, why not? Why not give it a try? Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Rochelle, the Real Life Carnivore. If you're new here, I would love to hear where you're visiting from. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what part of this video stands out to you the most. If you have any questions about it, I'm really looking forward to sharing this information with you. It is all about how I am raising my carnivore baby, how I'm doing things differently. They may be things that you are doing, maybe things you aren't doing, or maybe things that you've considered doing but were maybe hesitant to do. And I'm just here to share information. If it resonates with you, great. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. You can click the little notification bell down below and also be notified every time I upload a new post. So let's dive in. One of the many things that I studied before having my son was different ways to potty train, different diaper options. I am not conventional in the sense that I am not a fan of the store-bought diapers. If those are what you use, that's great. If that works for you. For me, I have super sensitive skin and I just didn't want to do anything that could potentially cause upset for my son's skin, just in case he ended up with my sensitive skin. Now, we've been really blessed with him. He has not had any issues, which I'm super grateful for. The Lord is so good. But we also are very active with his potty time, and I'll get into that in a moment here about what we're doing. But I use cloth diapers. These are pocket cloth diapers. So inside of these is a little insert that you just stuff on the inside here, and it's really helpful for what I call a super peer. So someone who has really big pees, for little people who hold their bladder for a really long time. It catches all of the pee and keeps it in the diaper. All diapers leak, but I love these because we very rarely have a leak or a mess with these. They're really easy to wash. You just wash them on a normal cycle with an unscented detergent on like normal, warm, and then a fast spin. And then you do a heavy duty wash afterwards with a hot water and then a high spin. And I mean, they smell pretty fresh to me. And if you end up with it, like any staining or anything like that, you can lay them out in the sunshine and the sun will bleach them back to being white. If you notice that you're getting like a urine smell, that can be from like either A, underwashing, B, overusing, or not using like a washing soda. So I've not had the pee smell problem yet, and we've been using these for over 6 months. But I do use a washing soda. So it's like laundry washing soda. And I can put that down in the description box below what it looks like. You can use baking soda, but the laundry washing soda is just a bit of a different compound. Baking soda will also neutralize the uric acid from urine. So if you're having issues with a pee smell, then I would say use half a cup of that in with your load of diapers. Definitely don't recommend washing them with towels because if there is any debris in these, it's probably not going to get as clean as it could because towels soak up the majority of the water and you want these to be super saturated. If you have an old drum style washer, even better. One of the ones with like the center agitator that just like bashes these around. Amazing. I have a front load just because of the way that our house is designed and built. That's what fit into the space, and it works great. So I'm not complaining. The second thing I'm doing, and it's actually one of the first things that I researched, was elimination communication. If you haven't heard about this, you guys go and check out Andrea Olson at Go Diaper Free. It is so cool. I had no idea, but I had this subconscious kind of thought like, oh, there must be like an intuition about this. And it's true. Babies have this undeniable intuition about not wanting to poop and pee where they eat and sleep. I'd say I agree with that. I don't like to poop and pee in my bed. I don't like to poop and pee where I'm eating. I don't go to the toilet with a mouthful of food. It's just not a thing I do. this has been really, really cool. So I tried it in the first 2 weeks and then I got really overwhelmed because, he was a newborn and he was just crying. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm too tired to figure this out. So I went back and I watched a whole bunch of videos of other moms going through this using the elimination communication protocol. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to try it. We got home. He was 2 weeks old on the day, 2 weeks old. I sat him on the little top hat potty and it literally looks like a cute little top hat turned upside down. I sat him on the little potty. He pooped and he peed right there. And I was like, I can do this. I can do this. And it's been really, really cool because he sends little signals, little cues like, he'll kind of get a little bit fussy after a meal or something like that. Or, within 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, he's like, hey, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I'll put him on his little potty. He does his business. It's wonderful. That's the other reason why I'm enjoying cloth diapers, because I don't actually have to wash that many of them, which is really cool. I don't have to spend money on diapers. I don't have to wash diapers. It's been a really big learning experience. And I just see the benefits of him really understanding and getting to know his body and being really connected to his body. Part of the reason why we chose elimination communication, and I'm not shaming anyone for what they choose to do. If you want to use store-bought diapers, that's totally your call. If you want to just use cloth diapers, totally your call. I wanted to try this because I just wanted to see if it works. And for me and my family, it definitely does. One of the biggest reasons why we chose to do elimination communication accompanying cloth diapers is because we learned and understood from Andrea Olson at Go Diaper Free that with the instinctive knowledge, like all other mammals, not to want to poop and pee where they eat and sleep, that we could teach our little one not to pee and poop in a diaper, that we could teach him to pee and poop in a potty. And it's been working and it's so cool. It's so cool. If you haven't checked this out, you guys, I really encourage you to go and check it out. It's not some crazy woo-woo thing that only 10 people are doing. Millions of people are doing this. I also didn't like the statistics of my child being in diapers until he's like 3 or 4. That just, to me, that's just not what I want to do. That's just not what I want to do. Even just thinking about it kind of makes me a little bit stressed out. So we're doing cloth diapers and elimination communication. That is our bathroom routine. Another part of elimination communication is they have these cute little trainer pants. Obviously, these are used and well used, which I think is great. So they have like little sizes and then they have bigger sizes. And then when Benoit gets bigger, then they have even bigger sizes. So these ones, you'll notice they're kind of wadded up in the middle. And that is because there are multiple layers of cotton. These are 100% cotton, which is lovely. And I love natural fibers. With these having these multiple layers, they can hold a medium-sized pee. So while we're doing the elimination communication, I'm not going to catch every pee and poop. It's just not something I'm going to be able to do. It's also, they don't encourage you to catch every single pee and poop. We catch the basic ones like when he wakes up in the morning, he'll want to nurse for a little while, and then about 5 to 10 minutes after he's woke up, then he wants to use the potty. So we let him use the potty. He does his business. It's great. All throughout the day, he gets to decide to let me know, because his awareness of his body, like he now knows, okay, like I know how to use the potty. I've done this before. I can choose when I want to go. He has more control over that, and I want to give him more control over that. So he's obviously, well, to me, it's obvious, maybe not to someone who's never done this before, but to me, it's obvious that he's experimenting with how much can I hold my bladder? How can I relieve this pressure? If I let it out a little bit, is that going to make me feel better? If I let it all out, how long can I go in between? And it's been really cool just kind of watching him experiment with that. So sometimes he'll let out, like a quarter size pee, and then he stops for a little bit, and then it's like, nope, I still have to go. And then he'll let me know and we'll go and he'll use the potty. The other thing I like about this is you can do it anywhere. You don't have to have the potties to do it even. So that I have the little top hat potty, and then I have like a little mini potty, which is, I think most kids get those. They're like those little cute little training potties that go on the floor. So when he first started, he was so teeny tiny, being a little newborn. So he would sit on the top hat potty that I sat inside of the mini potty just to hold it up. So I didn't have to hold it between my knees. I found that was a really effective method. They can do it in the sink, they can do it in the bathtub, they can do it in the toilet, and they can do it outside. There's a universal hold that they use where you cup underneath their little legs and put them in the squat position. And then you sign to them or indicate to them pss, 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 for pee or for poop. And I use the words in conjunction with the noises because at the newborn stage, that part of their brain is developed, the mammalian part of their brain is developing. And so they can kind of understand those basic mammalian cues. So that's why I did that. Okay, the other things that we are doing with our sweet little boy is my first book of baby signs. And as you can see, he's familiar with this book. And he wants to chew on it, and that's okay. I had no idea that he could understand or sign as early as he did. From about that 2-week mark, he had been signing for milk every time he wanted to have milk, and he still does it to this day, which I just think is so cool because when they don't have words and they don't have the ability to comprehend things, verbally, or like maybe comprehend isn't the right word, but they're not able to communicate properly with their words, I think sign language is a great alternative. And it has all of the basics in there, like more, yet, less, yes, no, potty, milk, those types of things. So I've found this super helpful with my little guy, and maybe you might find it helpful with your little person too. Another thing we have been doing is we've been using primarily Montessori type toys that are made out of like wood and just like very basic toys. Our son really loves being outside. So anytime he seems like he's maybe a little more fussy than usual and it's not his teeth, it's not whatever, I just take him outside, and that seems to be a wonderful option for him. I think that's for most people. It kind of just grounds you and just brings you back into your body and just kind of helps you to feel more relaxed and calm and at ease. I'm doing this part of the recording one-handed because my son is nursing right now, but I wanted to show you some of the Montessori toys that we have. So there's this one. There's these. And this comes apart. It teaches them to take it apart and put it back together, which is a dexterity thing. This, obviously. And of course, for every little boy who doesn't like a car, and the wheels do turn, which is great. So that's one of the gifts that we received at one of our baby showers was this beautiful gift of these Montessori wooden toys. I also love blocks, especially for little boys. Little boys love blocks, and he is no exception. My mother-in-law is bringing me a collection of wooden blocks from when her kids were kids, when my husband was a child, and I'm so excited to have those, and like wooden train sets and all those kinds of old-fashioned toys. I really enjoy those. Not to say there's anything wrong with the updated toys with the flashing lights and all the sounds and everything. We do have a little John Deere tractor that has all the animals and a farmer, and he absolutely loves that. It plays Old MacDonald Had a Farm every time he touches the button, which is really cute to see him realizing, oh, if I touch this button, there's a cause and effect, which is really cool. I think most people do the Everly mats. They have all those different stations, and I think it's really cool. It's got like the textures, it's got the sounds, it's got the little bell, and like the grasping moving objects. It's got the contrast balls, it's got the pictures, it's got the little mirrors. And I actually propped a mirror up on an angle up against the wall, this back wall that you can see where the ductwork goes in. I actually propped a mirror up on that wall. So when I turn around, I can not only see his face, but he can actually see my face from that angle, which I think he finds comforting. So when he's playing, if he starts making strange sounds, I'll just take a look over. And if he's looking at me, we'll smile at each other. And then he feels reconnected to me, which is really important. I read this article that children don't need socialization before the age of 3, which I thought was really interesting. I was like, what are you talking about? I think it's more us moms that need the socialization. So we're not all day, every day, only with our baby. I think that's really good for our mental health. The final 2 things that I want to share that we are doing with our son that may or may not be different than what you are doing is exclusively breastfeeding followed by baby-led weaning, and also for his teething. I'll touch on that in just a moment. So right from the word go, as soon as he was born, we went straight into breastfeeding. And that has been my ultimate goal, is to breastfeed him for as long as possible and for as long as he would like to breastfeed for. I read the book, and I highly recommend you read it. It's called Breastfeeding Made Simple. This is an excellent book with a great breakdown of all of the benefits of breastfeeding. If you are able to breastfeed, what to do in the event that you're not able to breastfeed, and when to ask for help. And I was so grateful that I had the help that I had when I first started nursing him, because wow, did I have some issues. And it wasn't because I didn't want to do it. It was just I really needed several sets of eyes to kind of help me nail things down. And so I joined a Natural Mamas nursing group, which was really helpful. The lady has been a lactation consultant and has also successfully breastfed 6 children, which is amazing to me. My midwife, her mother is also a lactation consultant, so I would consult with them as well. My midwife breastfed all of her 5 children. And I also have another lovely friend who actually had a little baby boy 3 months before me. He's so cute. He's so precious. She is also a lactation consultant as well. And so she would, offer me tips and check in on me just to see how things were going. And between the 3 of them and many hours on YouTube University, I finally figured out some things and some methods that would work for me. I have tried pumping, but I haven't been super successful with it. It also hasn't felt good because you need to measure for your pump, your breast pump. You need to measure the nipple flange. It shouldn't be painful. And for me, it was super painful because I had the wrong size nipple flange. So in order to avoid the nipple trauma from using a breast pump, I have done the measurements and I've ordered the appropriate size, and now I can use them if I want to. However, I just prefer to just let him nurse on demand. It just feels most natural to me. And so that's what I allow him to do. Now, when it comes to the baby-led weaning portion of things, as you may know, or maybe you're new here and you don't know my story, I am a carnivore. I eat only meat and animal products. Very, very rarely will I eat something like off carnivore. And that's just my choice. It's how I feel my best. It's how I was able to overcome infertility, my husband as well, and to get pregnant and have a successful, healthy pregnancy and baby boy. That was the reason why I went carnivore. With baby-led weaning, my son, and this is going to lead right into the last thing that I'm doing with my son popped his first 2 teeth through when he was still 4 months old, which was kind of a shock to me. I had a feeling he was teething because he would get really fussy at nighttime and just seemed to just not be easily consolable. And I was like, there's got to be something going on. So before I get into the baby-led weaning, I will share about what we are doing for teething. So 2 things we are doing for teething are these Hazelade amber necklaces. So this color is called honey. They have different colors, but I chose the honey one because it was on sale. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give this a try. My sister used teething necklaces, amber necklaces with all 3 of her boys. And she said, I would never go without them. And I've heard from other parents who have not used them with their children and then have used them with new children or future children. And it's been a night and day difference for them. So I was willing to try it. It was very inexpensive. I have a link below that you guys can check this out and you can get a discount on your own if you want to give them a try or if you want to gift them to someone who's curious about them. It's a beautiful company. They are Christian and Canadian based. So shout out to my Canadian friends at Hazelade. Thank you so much for this. And yeah, you guys, you definitely want to check these out. They're really, really wonderful. They have other options too for, adults who maybe have like indigestion or eczema or aches and pains and those types of things. These natural remedies can be really, really helpful and really, really supportive for nourishing your body back to health. So I highly recommend them. The other thing we're doing for teething, and this is probably a little more common, is using camellia. So this is a homeopathic, and it contains Camellia 9C HPUS, Phytolacca decandra 5C HPUS, Room 5C HPUS, and HPUS indicates the components in this product are officially monographed in the homeopathic pharmacopoeia of the United States. So you can check this out online. You probably can't see it in my camera, but I will put a link to this in the description box below. And when they're experiencing the teething pain, the digestive distress, the irritability, this has been super wonderful. I use it almost every day. He doesn't need it all day, but every now and again he'll have, a day that he's kind of a little more fussy. And I usually administer this to him, and within a couple of minutes, he's kind of settled back down and he's back to his happy-go-lucky self. I'm not suggesting that you use this as like a medication or a Band-Aid if there's some other issue going on, but this has been really, really helpful for my little man with his teething journey. Back to baby-led weaning, as I mentioned, he punched his first 2 teeth through when he was 4 months old, which was crazy to me. I was like, I can't believe this is happening, but here we are. He is now 6 months old, and those teeth are about almost halfway up, which I cannot believe how fast teeth come in. But it seems like it's a very uncomfortable process for a little person. Here, let's give you one right now. This is what the little homeopathics look like. They have like this little twist off top. I'm going to actually administer one to him right now because he's quite fussy. And I have tried this myself. It just tastes like water. And this is the one time where I'm like, I think plants are great because I believe this is a plant-based remedy. And to me, plants are medicine. And it's so interesting because like as soon as he tries it, as soon as I start using it with him, like I said, he just kind of settles out and just relaxes. So I think that's a good sign that it's working. And then he resumes nursing and he's happy. Okay, baby-led weaning. Most people probably do this. I understand that there are guidelines and all different kinds of options for people to start. They can do their own. You can do your own homemade pureed baby food. I, however, am not interested in spending my time doing that. And part of the reason is because my son is very close to crawling. He actually did a successful reverse army crawl yesterday. Well, actually for the last few days, but he did a forward crawl yesterday and he's figuring it out. And so when he's on the move, I don't want to be strapped down to having to cook and puree. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Also, if you've ever read, or if you haven't read, I highly recommend you do. The other book that I recommend for new parents is to read the book called Jaws, and I'll link that below as well. It talks about how there's this silent epidemic of malocclusion, which means crooked teeth and underdeveloped jaws. And it makes perfect sense to me because I look around at our society and so many people are what we call mouth breathers, or in the book they address them as mouth breathers. So these are people who, when they're doing anything, they're like, maybe not so dramatically, but they're breathing out of their mouth instead of breathing in and out of their nose. There are lots of ways to correct this, even as an adult, but it starts when the baby is an infant. They have tons of suggestions and recommendations for ways that you can help your little person and support your little person. One of the main ones is to breastfeed them. And then when they're interested in food, like my son was at 5 months old, to give them hard, difficult to chew foods that are not sweet, that are not processed. And so my son's first things that he was interested in were bones. So cooked bones, rib bones, smooth bones, rib bones. He went to town on a bison rib bone at a barbecue place. Like I ordered buffalo ribs. I was eating a rib and he was losing it because he wanted his buffalo rib too. And so I gave him that rib and he gnawed on it for the entire time we were at dinner. He did not get bored at all, which was really, really cool. He gnawed on that bone the entire time we were there, which was so cool to see. And he loved it. He loved every second of it. And it has not hindered his nursing desire or his want to nurse or anything like that. He still wants to nurse. When we are at home, I will cook up a steak for myself and I'll cut a long, thick piece of steak for him. Or if it's a steak, like a chuck steak or a ribeye steak, sometimes the end will just pop off. So it's like this cute little baby-sized steak. It's maybe like an ounce or 0.75 ounces. And so I'll cook it up for him as well. No seasoning, just a little bit of salt, the same way I eat it. And I'll serve it to him and he will just go to town on it. He will chew it and he will just enjoy the heck out of that. He also loves butter and he loves tallow. Now, the only way that I knew that he was interested was because he kept grabbing at things and grabbing at things and grabbing at things. And because this is all that I eat, he just naturally, obviously he innately trusts me, and whatever is on my plate and he sees me eating, he's sort of mimicking and wanting to do the same thing. So that's not to say that he doesn't try to grab things from other people, but I haven't seen him do that yet. He will take something from my husband, but it's only if it's meat. Like if my husband has offered him anything else, he's just like, I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. All of this to say, whatever you choose for you and your baby is your choice. I'm not condemning or shaming anyone for what they choose. And I pray that people don't condemn and shame me for what I'm choosing for my son and my family. He's choosing these things, so I'm allowing him to explore. Food before one is just for fun. I remember hearing my sister say this multiple times. She's had 3 healthy, strong boys. And I just figure why not? Why not give it a try? So with that being said, food before one is just for fun, and that's kind of our motto. So I know that he can't really taste anything, but it's all about the textures. He's learning how to chew. And as per the recommendations in JAWS to breastfeed and to start your child on difficult to chew foods that are not sweet, this was the best option that I could find that was very low risk for allergies. It's very low risk for allergies and just seems to be something he's genuinely interested in. So I'll let him try it, and it's one food at a time. Like I said, butter, tallow, and beef are his things that he has tried, and the buffalo rib bones. There is actually one other thing that we do that seems to be very controversial. And I've looked at the studies about this. I've trusted my natural mama instincts, which I pray that you do the same thing. And it just didn't feel right to me not to do this. So the last thing that I will share that we are doing with my son is we are co-sleeping. So co-sleeping is where the baby sleeps in close proximity to you. You can do this with a sidecar crib where they have their own little space. You can do this where they sleep on a sheepskin. That's what I have. He sleeps on a sheepskin. I sleep on my side. That way, as soon as he gets fussy in the night, if he gets fussy in the night, I can pop my breast in his mouth. He can resume nursing and fall back to sleep. And so can I. This has been really helpful because it's helped me to get a better night's sleep. My husband has been getting great sleep, and he will sleep for close to anywhere between 10 and 12 hours, which is a really long time, but he'll sleep and he'll maybe wake me up. Currently, he's waking me up anywhere from 3 to 5 times, but typically he only wakes me up 1 to 2 times, which is really cool. The other part about the elimination communication that I will say is most mornings, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, but most mornings we'll wake up and he will have a clean, dry diaper. Like he will not have wet. He will have held it all night. How cool is that? How cool is that? Like now I don't have to worry about, infections or skin weirdness or anything or like pee smell, nothing. Like he's holding it all night, which is just so friggin' cool to me. Anyway, all this to say, I hope that you choose the path that feels intuitively right for you. I understand that the way that I'm doing things is maybe a little bit different than the way that you have done things, the way that you might do things, and that's okay. We are different. Our babies are different. Our walks are different. Our lifestyles are different. Not everyone is able to do what I'm able to do. Not everybody wants to do what I want to do, and I totally am okay with that. I just think that you need to do what is best for you and your baby and your family, and that's what matters. If your baby is healthy and thriving, that is what matters. If you are healthy and thriving, that is what matters. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I will drop all of the links below that I mentioned during this video. If you haven't checked out my Carnivore Mom series, I highly encourage you to do so. There's so much great information on there from so many beautiful moms doing so many different things. And some of them have 2 children, some of them have 8 children, some of them have gone through miscarriages like myself. Children after loss. It's so beautiful. And I'm just so grateful and humbled by all of the guests that I've had. There are some carnivore dads coming up in this series as well. So I hope that you'll partake in that. I hope that these stories encourage you and inspire you and help you to make great decisions about your life, about your livelihood, about your health, and about your family. This is Rochelle, the Real Life Carnivore, signing out. Have a blessed rest of your day. Bye for now.